Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Let's look at what we got going first thing this morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Excuse me. I'm going to go into YouTube so I can see the comments. I need to go back. Oh, yeah, yeah. I need to go back. Come on. There we go. Doo, doo, doo. Ah, yeah, yeah. I turned my phone so that I could have it in the profile. Guess that's profile. Landscape. Yes, landscape. And now it doesn't want to go back the other way. And I'm trying to get to where I can get to my own channel. Trying to get to my own channel. Don't do that. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make it do right, but it doesn't want to. So hold on while we get it right. Every time I open YouTube, it goes into the other format. Not what I want. Okay, let me turn this. There we go. Ay, ay, ay. Ah, la, la. Got it figured out. Got it figured out. Says I'm live right now, and I am looking at myself. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Chief Truck-a-Lot. Are you a trucker? Adrian Dupree. Hey, Adrian. Why could it not start? Okay. Getting distracted. I just got a new oh, the bin's full. That would be a reason why it won't start. I just got a new like vacuum cleaner thingy, the thing that cleans the vacuum. I mean, that cleans the floor when we're not there. And it didn't start, and it's saying it's not starting. I was like, why is it not starting? And it said it's not starting because the bin is full. That's a good reason why it's not starting, right? I think that's a good reason for it not to start. Let's see, why am I not sharing that screen? So now let's go back to see why we're not sharing the screen. All right, here we go. Here we go, go, go. Come on. Shh. There we go. Okay, so this morning, the VIX, and actually I meant to empty that bin. It should give you like a beep beep thing. It should like blink to let you know. Anyway, that's what happens when stuff is new and you got to figure out how to use it. Yeah, that's how that goes. Okay, so now we're looking at the VIX. The VIX today, or the VIX currently, is at 14.32. It was at 15. It's probably up really high because CPI just did their data at 8:30, which is about 30 minutes ago. And we're going to look at the chart here in a minute so you can see what the result of that has been. CPI looks like it came in, about flat. So it's so it's okay. So this is our CPI data. Make sure that I can keep it on the screen. The core CPI, the expectation was that it would, last time it was 0.4%. They expected to be at 0.3%, but it's at 0.4%. Right? CPI month over month, again, it was expected to be at 0.4%, and it is at 0.4%. And the year over year is expected to be at 3.1%, but it's at 3.2. Okay. This is the meetings for this morning. At 1 o'clock, we're going to have the 10-year bond auction. That's showing as a red, and generally it doesn't show as red, but I think it's showing red now because people are shifting their money around. Anytime their inflation numbers are getting higher and things are seeming to be, we may interest rates aren't settling down or whatever, people move their money into I'll say, I don't want to say more secure, but for more secure, I'm putting air quotes around that. So bonds end up being a hot ticket item. So 10-year bonds, people are, moving their money there. And then at 2 o'clock, we're going to have the federal budget balance. Okay. That's all today. Tomorrow we'll have crude oil and the 30-year bond auction, which is also a red for tomorrow. Then PPI will be on Thursday. Okay. Yahoo Finance. Inflation pressures persist as CPI rises more than expected. Seemed like it to me was the same. It didn't really rise more. It was stayed flat. Right. What's this grocery store that's showing up back here? CPI report is the last inflation print before the Fed's policy decision next week. CPI and PPI lead into what the Fed will decide to do as far as interest rates go. S&P 500 Nasdaq futures edge higher as CPI day arrives. Diamond urges the Fed not to cut rates in June. I would wait. Whoever Diamond is, he must be somebody who can make these kinds of comments. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Janae. So that's where we are. Investors rush to buy seven small stocks before everybody else does. They always have stuff like that on there, and so I'm sure there's good stuff there to investigate. In the pre-market, the Dow futures, S&P futures, and Nasdaq futures are all green. Oil is red. 10-year bonds is green. 10-year bonds, I just told you they're having the auction today, so that may be why the 10-year is green. S&P 500 future ticks higher as all eyes are on key inflation reading, which we just got that reading. So I don't know if they'll maybe change. Yep, there we go. S&P futures gain for the first day in 3 after CPI is about as expected. Still have green on the futures and suchy. There, we talked about our meetings already. Anything on the economic calendar that wasn't on the other one? The red book is there. Cleveland CPI, 10-year bonds, federal budget balance is down here at 2 o'clock, and that is a 2-star or medium volatility. Yesterday, S&P closed at 5117.94. It was down about 5 points yesterday. This morning, it seems to be recovering that information. This is, or that data. This is what popped this morning. S&P. This is SPY. Let's go to SPY and see if we can. Many of us follow SPY. Let's change this over. This is what happened with SPY. We had a real long dip, baby, and then it popped back up. This is a 15-minute chart that is going on. Let me see. We closed yesterday at, what's this close here yesterday? Close, 5111. And now we're at 5113. At this point, we're at 5113. So that's on the SPY. Let's look at SPX 500. Some guy's outside my office. That's why I'm looking. He's out there putting something on the wall, though. So it's good to have a window because you can kind of see out, but then sometimes it's not good to have a window, especially if you're easily distracted like me. If you're easily distracted, this is SPX 500, which is the way that we can look at SPX when the market is closed, and it's at 5137 right now. It is in a support area, so it could definitely take this and go on up a little higher. Go on up a little higher. Okay, let's go see what we have as far as earnings and suchy. Earnings, I believe this is this week. Yesterday we had Oracle aftermarket, Asana, Ocular was there aftermarket. Let's see if anybody jumped. Mission. This morning we had ADM, Kohl's, Raw. No, that's Boss. That's not Ross. Blade, AWH, people I don't really recognize. And today, aftermarket closes. We've got Clover, Hydra Financial, Allbirds, PHX. Again, a few people, purple people I don't understand. I don't know. And then today's Tuesday. That was aftermarket, was those people. Tomorrow morning, before market opens, we have Dollar Tree and Zim. We know those. Petco is there tomorrow morning before we open. Williams and Sonoma is tomorrow morning. Vera Bradley, ADC, Silence, some other people we don't really recognize. Okay. Let's look at what Adam had to say. And there may be another number I'll look at with Adam. Here in a minute. This is what he said. Fantastic follow through in SPX 5165 plus was the next target as posted. We got there overnight. Easy move done. Lock in gains now. CPI in 30 minutes. As always, expect traps the first 30 minutes. Plan 5141, 5128 supports. Must hold on CPI dips in order to keep 5180, 5208 to 10 alive. If 5128 fails, then we're going to sell to 5100. If you're trading XSP, you've got 521 on the call side and 510 on the put side. Pretty wide. Because the volatility is up today, you should be able to get good premiums longer into the day and even into the afternoon, 1 o'clock. You should still be able to get decent premiums because anytime the VIX is up at 14, 15, when the VIX is up, the premiums are up. Okay, so that's a good thing for a seller because you can then take in more premiums when you enter your trades. So keep that in mind as you're trading there. Don't know who all jumped in on some stuff yesterday. I think some people in my community said they traded Exxon and I think I traded something. Peakbot for me did Mara, my Mara trade. I did not mean to take that off. My Mara trade was Peakbot, and we're doing the Peakbot picks. That was my Mara trade. That's what I put in Peakbot yesterday. Actually, I meant to switch it over to T triple Q, but before I remembered to switch it over, Peakbot had already entered the trade. But every week we can pick up to 10 stocks from their watch list that we believe are going to be profitable. They're going to be out of the money at the end of the week. And I picked 10 last week and I picked 10 more this week. As of last week, I was in the lead. Had picked the most out of the money trades for the week. We'll see how it goes. As Lean says, she did XOM. So we had XOM. We had again, I did Mara. I mentioned something in the trade. Was it a firm? I think I said something about a firm yesterday in my community. Something to look at. It's not on our list, but I said, let's look at a firm and we may be able to have some time. Is this our list for the week? This is not this week's list. Ay, ay, ay. No, that's not what we want. That was last week's list. Let me go grab this week's list. So that way we can make sure we're looking at the right stuff. There we go. This is this week's list. I'm going to share my screen again. Present. Share screen. Oh, I didn't pick. Okay. Didn't pick allow. There we go. This is this week's list. Oh yeah. I need to update that thing where all my stuff is. This is the list for this week. I needed to fix Pinterest too. Didn't I say something about 3637 yesterday? I think I mentioned that. General Motors. We got a decent little list. We got a 50-50 split on call credit spreads and put credit spreads. Usually over the last few weeks, it's been more put credit spread heavy because things had just been going up and not been pulling back any. But now we have some things. Some of the banks are on the call credit spread side. Intel is over there, right? Schwab is over here. Apple, McDonald's. You definitely want to make sure, though, as I always tell people, I'm putting on ideas based on what I see over the weekend. So I'm looking at the weekend, I'm looking at the charts, but by Monday morning, something could have happened. So when you look at these trades, don't just jump in, flat out, sight unseen as far as zones go. Look at the zones again. These numbers may be great. Most likely, many of them are going to still be good numbers, but you want to look to make sure that maybe it needs to drop down one strike, or maybe it needs to go up one strike. You want to look at for yourself, do your support and resistance charting to see if you agree. Check out your probability out of the money, check out your plus minus number, and determine whether you still agree with these strikes. And then go from there, right? I'm not just handing out fish. I'm teaching us how to fish, right? My whole objective as a course creator and as a trading coach is to teach us how to go find our own money in the market, right? I'm teaching you how to go and make sure that what you need is here. But listen, there's plenty of money on this list right here. Pick one, pick two, pick five, and run them. Run one contract, run two, run five, run 10, run the list, and then pull in those premiums. If you've got $1,000, pick $1,000 worth of credit spreads and pull in at least 10%, most likely 15 or 20 each week. You can do that, and you can rinse and repeat, because many of these, if you go in on Monday, you're going to be able to get out of the trade maybe on Wednesday. Some of them even Tuesday, depending on how the market was moving on Monday. You may be able to get out on Tuesday and then use that collateral to go into another trade. right? Many of them you can open on Monday, close on Wednesday, then open another one Wednesday that will expire on Friday, right? You make it rinse and repeat that same money. Use that same $1,000 over and over and over and pull in $100, 150, $200 each week off that same $1,000. That's what I'm teaching you to do. Okay, you keep rinsing and repeating the money. You don't have to buy time. Yeah, I'm a fan of buying options, definitely not against it. I'm also a fan of selling options, right? That's what I teach. That is my niche and my zone. But take this money, rinse and repeat it. You can just go with this week. When you're buying, you got to go out a few more days, another couple of weeks or whatever, and your money has to either sit while it's doing its thing. But when you're selling, you can each week you can do each week. Now you can decide you want to go out more weeks and pull in more premiums. I know. But if you want to just do week to week, there's a good way to make 10 to 15, 20% return on your collateral. Okay. That's really what I wanted to say there. Alrighty. Let me make sure there's something else in here I wanted to mention. Let's go to the chart real class. I see Affirm, Mara, XOM. Tanya says those are the ones she got. Um, those are good ones. Those are good ones. Mara, Clean Spark is another good one. Taiwan Semiconductors. There's a lot of good ones on that list. A lot of good stuff on that list. All right. Let me go back to our chart. See what we're looking at here. I'm going to go look at Taiwan Semiconductor. Take us down to a daily. He'll take us up to a daily chart. Right, Taiwan Semiconductors has pulled back a bit, but it's still, see how these candles are all green? That basically says we're still on an upwards trend. See, when I put it in this area, it says green. These still, even though we've pulled back a couple times in here, we're still green. Taiwan Semiconductors is still green. It is still above this moving average. And this moving average is I want to say it's my 10, but let me make sure. Yeah, the blue one is the 10 moving average. So it's still above the 10, so it can bounce right off of here and go on up some more, right? That's Taiwan Semiconductor. If you're doing SOXL, again, SOXL is in that same semiconductor space. You know, we're flowing with that. Let's look at Riot and Mara. Right? Riot looks like it may have flipped over. It's so weird that the crypto stuff, crypto Bitcoin is at literally its all-time high, but the mining platforms are not keeping up per se. We've got Riot, Mara, but BTBT, Bitfarms, and there's a few others that are, you know, AI is kind of leading the charge right now. But if you're oh, you don't see my chart. Yes, you're right. You don't see my chart. I'm sorry. Let me fix that. I snapped off of there and then I didn't go back. I got you. I got you. Okay, let's see if you can. I should be able to know that you can't see my chart because I couldn't see it over there either. Let me go back. Come on, it says you're sharing. Why aren't you sharing anything? Oh, there we go. So this was Taiwan Semiconductors again. I wasn't showing y'all the chart. Sorry about that. But it has pulled back, but it's still above this blue, which is this blue one on my chart is a 10 period moving average. All right. It's still riding above there. When I put it in here, you see, I put it into this area. This is an indicator that kind of helps you see the trend that you're still in. And when the trend changes, then it looks different, basically. Let me see. I might be able to show you when it was red, if it was red. Let me see. Usually if you go in here. So this trend has been green for a long time. But you see down here on the bottom left, when I put myself in here, you'll see how the red over to the left is red. Let you know that it was a change that switches over to positive, to green, and it's been green ever since. Right? This is the daily chart that we're on. Even though it's pulled back some over here, it's still showing green, right? That was Taiwan Semiconductors. This is SOXL. SOXL also right at the top of the 10 moving average, but it's pulling back into that area. It's a little doji from yesterday. I'm not sure if y'all can see these. These are kind of small. I was trying to show you the red. Right? Taiwan Semiconductor yesterday was a doji. like it was trying to decide what to do. It needs to go on with the rest of them, right? Don't be trying to language back. Um, Clean Spark is into the AI space. Yeah, and that Clean Spark is the AI space, or is that crypto? I think it's crypto, not AI. Still in the green, there's Clean Spark. But let's look at Mara, like Mara and Riot. This one, these are been down. See, now we got a red basically, Mara. Even though Bitcoin is at an all-time high, it's still not necessarily keeping up. This is Riot, right? This is Riot. Same thing. It's had more of a red thing going. The mining areas can't seem to get out the gate, which, we're going to work with that. Let's look at SoFi. Somebody mentioned yesterday in a comment said, this is the last time SoFi is going to be $7. And I was like, oh, you think so, huh? Because SoFi just has such a problem getting out the gate. Maybe it's going to get on out the gate this time. It's just like, it just can't seem to get moving. I'm trying to make these bigger so that y'all can see the candles comfortably. Right. But it came out of this support area, big dip down here, and it's got a gap up here that needs to fill. Is this my gap or a gap? No, that's not my gap. There's a big gap that needs to fill between these two. Right. This is and hopefully SoFi will go on up there and grab it and say, we coming, here we come. The bottom of this gap is like 805, $8. The top of the gap should provide some resistance. So you want to be careful, of course, there. There is some resistance that was here, but it bumped on past it. Bumped on past resistance from February 6th time frame, but it went on past it. I'm taking off some of these lines. I haven't charted SoFi in a long time, and it's looking, my chart looks like it. That support though still held. I had that on from forever ago, and it's still holding, yet holding on. Glad that I'm back. Where did I go? On Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm I come into this area a little late because I teach until 9:40, and my kids have been getting ready for my adult kids. When I say adult kids, there's college students have been getting ready for a test. So next week though, we're gonna be in here for real because it's spring break. It's spring break. Let me see, what else did I want to look at? Did I have anything else I wanted to see? Exxon. We can look at T Triple Q. Oh, let's look at Palantir, and then let's look at Intel. NVIDIA used to be the Apple whenever Apple moved, the S&P moved, but Apple has been replaced by NVIDIA. So now it's when NVIDIA moves, S&P moves. So keep that in mind. AMD, I remember trading AMD back when it was like less than 150, and it wasn't that long ago out because I was liking the one spread on AMD. Now AMD is up in the area where it's a 2.5 spread. We got Apple, AMD, Amazon, and Palantir. Apple, AMD, Amazon, and Palantir. Let's start with Palantir. Apple and Palantir. Palantir it's got had some good news from some as far as their contracts and such went. Weirdly enough, when I do this, this still shows red. I don't know why it's showing red, even though all this is definitely upwards moving. But Palantir is someplace that may be of note. Let's see what Amazon's talking about. Amazon looks like it may be pulling back a little bit. Kind of between support and resistance. It kind of hit the resistance and it's pulling back to the support area, but it's still showing that it's green. So keep your eyes wide open. Now it's also at the 20 period moving average. The 20 period, I taught this to my community. The 20 period moving average is almost like a lasso. It pulls the price back in. So the price will ride, it will drift away. This is the yellow one is the 20. So the price will drift away and come back to the 20. It will drift away and come back to the 20. It will drift away and come back to the 20. Now that it's back at the 20, it may do a drift on up away. Remember, keep that in mind. It likes to stay in every stock, not just this one, likes to stay around the 20. All right. So this may be an opportunity. Let me put a line on here because I think I see some support or resistance in this area. There was a gap here that is being filled. There's a gap between here and here being filled. Let me pick it. Come on. There was a gap that was between here and here being filled, right? And now it is, Amazon is in that gap. So I'm going to bring the top of the gap down so show that what we have filled it so far, but there is still gap that's remaining. The bottom of the gap is at 169.21. It should provide some support. So keep that in mind. If you want to trade gaps, my community, somebody in there was asking about how do we trade gaps. Oh, good, Tanya, you did Palantir. And what you can do is you can trade through a gap. You stay on top of it and stay below it and let it go through the gap. Now, sometimes this is a buyer's gap. So in the middle of this gap area, there are buyers. There are people in their orders, not people, there are orders in here that are waiting that got skipped over back here in February when the price jumped from the 21st to the 22nd. When the price jumped, there were some orders that might have been sitting in here that were just waiting. And now as price comes in, it may pick those orders up and go back up again. But gaps do like to fill. So keep that in mind. Okay. That was Amazon we said we were looking at. And I said I was going to look at AMD. Market's going to open soon enough, and y'all know I have to jump off so I can go teach. So we'll do what we can do here, get as much covered as we can. While you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share with the people that are in your trading community. I know there's so many things to look at in the morning before the market opens. And tell your folks, though, especially if there are people who are interested in trading as a seller, I'm going to come from a different angle than a lot of people, because they're going to come from buyer's angles. I'm going to come from a seller's angle. So if you got people that you know who trade vertical spreads and other selling strategies, then, like and subscribe. Of course, you need to do that. And then you need to share this with other people. There's a gap that was formed on AMD between Friday and yesterday. AMD is probably going to want to fill that gap. I'm not sure. On the pre-market, it's at 250.56. So it's actually up from the close yesterday already, because it closed yesterday at 198, and it's already up at the 200 right now. That's what I say. Apple, AMD, Amazon, something Palantir. Okay, I looked at. Oh, I was going to look at Intel. Intel had so much promise and then nothing. This is Intel. It's kind of, if you look at it, it's really kind of inside of a consolidationary zone. Looks like it may be consolidating. Come on, you can move. Okay, move. There we go. I actually didn't want you to move. I wanted you to move. This is the resistance at 46. There's another bit of resistance at this line here, which is 44.64. We've got support. The closest support is here at 43.87. AMD, not AMD, Intel is coming up out of there's a few supports right in here that we could look at, right? Notice we're all green though. Intel may be trying to come on up a little higher and do its thing as well. If I was trading Intel right now, I would look at a put credit spread, but I might even look at Iron Condor, seeing that it's just been in this zone for a while. It is climbing now. Got a little bit of a trend line going over the last few days. We got a little trend line going. I might look at that, but I would also look at how hard this resistance was up here. So we have what, a rising channel, rising flag or something like that. But honestly, the trend is also forming over here. So we got a channel. We're going up into this channel, and I could leave that there. Or I could bring it down to here, but I'll leave it there for now. But we seem to have a rising channel that's happening. So, if you can get above right this channel, you could potentially do an iron condor on INTC. Intel, look at an iron condor. I'll look at that again today, and I'll put something in the chat for my community. We'll look at it and see what kind of good numbers we might have for Intel for an iron condor. Iron condors are what we want to do. Why is that? Because when we do an iron condor, we can get money on both sides without having to put collateral on both sides. Okay. When you do an iron condor, let's say you do a one spread or 50-cent spread. Let's do a one spread. Then you're going to have a one trade up here that's going to collect money. Maybe it collects 10, 12, $15. You're going to also do a put credit spread where you're going to collect 10, 12, or $15. Let's say 10. I'm just going to be conservative. So you collect $20 and you're only using the one set of collateral, which will be the $100. That's a 20% return on your money. When generally, if you only do one side, you're going to just get the premiums from that side. But if you do both sides, you're going to use one collateral, which would be the $100, but you're going to collect money from both sides. All right. That's on Intel, INTC. Okay, we'll look at it again later. If you're in my community or whatever, then we definitely can go there. I want you, oh, I got a minute. I want you to keep in mind that we are having our options 411 challenge is starting tomorrow. It starts tomorrow evening at 7. If you've been holding on, like, I think I want to go, sign up. Okay, quit waiting. Come on, put your money on the wood and let's go. Let's run it. Right? It doesn't matter to me, honestly. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't. How many people are there? I'm going to teach the same whether it's one person, two people, or 200. I teach the same because that's how that goes. The Lord told me that real early in this process to whoever comes is meant to be there. So I don't focus on the numbers, but it does make a difference if we have good numbers because the whole objective of this is to continue to grow and teach more people, right? I need to teach more people, and the more people come, the more people we can teach, right? So, options 411 for newbies is starting tomorrow. We've got 3 days worth of solid information, right? Stock options basics, terminology. What do you need in your broker? What do you need for you money wise, time wise, what strategy wise? How do you chart and do technical analysis? Are you going to trade passive or active? Are you a seller or a buyer? How do you trade and make money every single week? This is all the stuff I'm going to show you when we do that. Okay. Let's jump back to the market being open. I'm going to remove this because it's just getting ready. Oh, it just did. I think we should have got a ding, ding, ding. I don't think I heard it because I didn't have Thinkorswim open. But I think the market just opened. Let's see. Yep, we did. SPY just opened upwards. We're going to let's go to a shorter time frame. See what's going on. I like the 2-minute chart too. RUT and SOXL. You trading RUT, Jamie? I looked at SOXL already. Uh, let's see what we got going here. What is going on? What's going on? Jamie, if you want to come into the studio and do some more charting, you can. Of course, I got about 5 more minutes before I'm gonna need to jump off, so I can go and do my primary job. Gotta go do my primary job, which is teaching, right? Primary job. Okay, that was SPY. That's opening. Let's go look at SPX. SPX did a big old jump in the morning. In the morning, did a big old jump. The green is going upwards. We've got upwards moving channel down here. The gap is basically were all these yesterday. Let's go to the daily. This is weird. Did I create this channel? I don't. That's a fair value. Is that a fair value gap? I think so. And let's show our own gap. This is going to be the opening gap for the morning, right? Let me go to a 15-minute chart. That's what we got going. First thing this morning, it's up and moving upwards. Yep, moving upwards. I feel like I needed to share something else, but let me go back. Stop, y'all. I wanted to remind you, wanted to remind you that we are still going left. Don't forget this. I know I keep swinging back around to it because I want to remind you, don't allow yourself to be drawn into a bunch of different strategies, right? We're going to pick one or two and we're going to master those. We're getting education along the way, which is where we pull in things like options 411 and then our 6 week boot camp, which will follow it, right? Focus on the fundamentals, trading, charting. You want to go with, start with the chart.com is basically a free webinar. It's a free charting webinar. Go there and do start with the chart, right? I should have run that banner this morning about our options 411 going. Here's our calendar for this month. We got a lot happening in the E2T community. I didn't talk about membership yet, but I will here in a second. We got a lot happening on this calendar. Well, that was all last week. This week we're on live on YouTube every morning. The options 411 for newbies is starting up for the next 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It starts tomorrow, by the way, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Next week, of course, I'm live at 5 on YouTube every Sunday. I wasn't this past Sunday because I was hanging out with my husband at Daytona Bike Week, and I didn't want to rush him to get us back home. So I didn't make it. He doesn't get a whole lot of times because usually on Sunday I'm like, I got to be home by 4 o'clock. But he wanted to do that, so I said yes, we can, and I didn't at all. I didn't even mention the fact that we were missing my YouTube call. I mean, I do it every week, so he knows it's there, but I didn't even mention it. But this is what is happening this week. And then at the last of the month on the 25th, I'm actually going to start the Options 411 boot camp. I'll actually start that 6 week training boot camp for Options 411 at the end of the month. So that's what comes out of the challenge starts the boot camp where we get 6 weeks of deeper, more involved learning. Okay, that's what happens there. All right. All righty. Let's go back to the membership real quick. There we go. E2T membership, 9:30 calls or 9 in the morning calls, whichever time we have on YouTube. And then we have weekly training calls, which happen on Wednesdays. We have the monthly coaching calls first Saturday of the month. We have a Telegram group where me and my community are there. And they have access to me and access to other coaches inside the Telegram and that kind of thing. And they also have, this is probably one of, I won't say this is the biggest, but it's one of the biggest benefits is every program that I put on, every challenge, every boot camp, everything I decide I'm going to do, they get to be, if you're a member, you get to be a part of that. Okay. The boot camp, it's going to be a little bit more. It's looking like it's going to be 497 for the 6 weeks. So, anyhow, the when you're a member of my community, that puts you in line for all the things that I do. All right, that automatically puts you right in line for all the things that I do. Every challenge, every boot camp, everything you get to come and be a part and hang out with us and get, you know, full detailed training, coaching, teaching. Being on YouTube is great. We can be on YouTube and we're going to do this for free. And I'm going to give you the information that I give you. And the intent is not to be superficial, but a lot of times what happens is the information is superficial. It's not that that's what it's intended to be, but because of the time constraints and how deep can I go if I'm talking, how deep can you go if you're talking about different topics? I'm not going to go but so deep on a YouTube video in the morning per se. If I do, I have other videos that are longer, but just keep in mind that when you're with a YouTuber, you're basically hanging out with somebody who's giving you some level of information. But the people generally are going to give like their full level of attention and information to a community that is their community, that is a paid community. So when people can say, you can learn how to do so and so on YouTube, you absolutely can. You can learn how to do all the things on YouTube. It teaches you, everything from, how to grow worms to how to trade stocks. It teaches all those things. But if you get to where you're learning these things on YouTube and you need to reach out and ask a real question that's for you, very few YouTubers are going to answer that question in detail. They're going to give you an answer. Like I answer all my comments. Um, Yeah, I wasn't talking to you, Chandrika. Cedric. I was talking just in general. Um, but they're going to answer. I answer all my questions, but I'm going to answer the YouTube question in like a sentence. It used to be where you could answer it in a short, but that's only 60 seconds. This answer is not for Sandrika. It is for the world at large. That any YouTuber is going to give you, they're going to respond generally. Many of them, some of them don't, but they're not going to respond in depth to you individually. Now, the people who are in your community, in my community for sure, if somebody in my community who is paying for my membership asks me a question, then I'm going to make sure I give them all the information I can give them to help them be successful. I'm going to tell them everything they need to know to be successful, right? That's me, right? Yeah. Well, if you need more help, that's what we're here to do, Chandrika. We're here to give help. We're here to give us some more help. Okay, let me switch back to the chart real quick and then I'm going to wrap us up. Looks like SPY and SPX have pulled back. I just saw on my screen that there's a pullback happening. They went up way good high, pulled right on back in, right? That's SPX. Let's go to maybe a shorter time period. Our 15-minute chart, we haven't been open 15 minutes quite yet. That's a 5-minute chart. It went way up, poop, and came right on back. Turn, 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 turn. Maybe just pulling back to the line so that way it can go up some more. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is what SPY looks like right now. Boom, it hit the support area though, so maybe it'll hit this support and go on back up. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. It's very small, especially if you're looking on a cell phone. Definitely may not be able to see it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing there. I'm going to go back to, well, I was not sharing there. There we go. Let's go with, listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. You can also find me in all the places. Obviously, you're on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. And I don't know for how much longer, but I am on TikTok a little bit. The whole TikTok thing is a whole topic, right? Going on right now is whether or not there will remain TikTok. Some business leaders probably aren't too keen on that idea because some folks have built a whole business on TikTok. The trader's declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My account's growing more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Our prayer, Lord, is you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war with the purpose of establishing your kingdom. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically in order to fulfill this purpose. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others in Jesus' name. Okay. Sandrika, you can reach out to me either in email or you can send me a messenger. You can send me a message on Messenger and let's talk about what kind of help you need because we may be able to give you the assistance you need in a short period of time and you can maybe do a one-on-one or we can do something that can get you the help you need. But reach out to me so that way we can discuss it. Okay, if you're on Telegram or in my Telegram, you can reach me there. But reach out to me and we can figure out what we can do. Okay, sounds good. All right, everybody. I'm getting ready to go off and play professor. I'm not going to play professor. I'm a good teacher, by the way. I'm a good professor. I'm going to go and do that. And then I will be back into the community and all. I want you to make sure you do two things today. What are those two things? You need to stay green and you need to get this money. All right. I want you to have a great green day and I will see you in the market. Bye, everyone.